go! Yay! Lovely. And again, 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
He's run here and then I run back.
This is going to be opened up into a new bar and restaurant facility for the theatre. Bar's going to be right in front of us there with the between those columns. Some demolition still to happen at the front here, which is going to open up, lose that wall that we see in front of us and open up all of that area, creating a new glazed restaurant and bar in what used to be just an undercroft for parking in the future. So that's going to improve the theatre's food and beverage offer and help support their business case. Behind us, we're enhancing the WC facilities. One of the things at the top of the theatre's wish list was to improve the toilet facilities, particularly for the ladies. So those facilities are doubling in number. Gents are being enhanced as well. Above us you'll see ductwork and so on from the old auditorium. So Dave, shall we move on to the next? Go upstairs. Around the area that was the bar for the theatre beforehand, we're standing at the back of the auditorium. So there's new exits out of the auditorium, new stairs will be formed because we've changed this configuration so that we can fit in an accessible WC behind you there, which is under construction. This area is going to be a multi-purpose breakout space, but there's going to be a pop-up bar here also. So I think the idea is that you order your intermission drinks and come up here to collect those at the appropriate time. All the corridors for the new fire regulations and so on are going to be enclosed in fire-rated glazing with very thin frame detail, so that to create as much sort of like openness as possible. Just look straight through it. These will be the main sort of circulation spaces out of the auditorium and down to the bar area below us. This might be a good opportunity just to look outside. The plans to enhance all the hard landscaping outside the front of the theatre, pretty much in the area where the hoarding is at the moment, but also across the road to the hole in the wall, levelling up the road and creating almost like a shared space that the theatre can spill out onto with tables and chairs and so on. They can have ad hoc performances out there. There'll be power, there'll be some new trees behind us as well, and this will all be paved in different colours. And create a much more inviting space really for a lot of people arriving in Colchester over the road. First thing they're going to see is a very nice area around the newly enhanced theatre.
And just to say that then the wall obviously is being lit from the other side in the next few days, is it not? Then we're going to take on lighting the wall from this side, and then all the trees will have all fairy lights in them. All of this area is lit, so this becomes a new shared space. You'll be able to get around to the side and out the back there. There will be an area which is covered in sails in the trees for things like kids storytelling sessions, nice chairs and tables up on here, and as Lee said, there's chairs and tables outside. So, and then there'll be electric and power in the piazza area that we've been calling it, so that we can have things like performances, markets, events, all of those types of things. And similarly, it will have planters and a whole growing scheme, and that area is also we're looking at in terms of growing stuff to use on site.
And also it's all going to be one level, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually for accessibility, people will be able to come to St Mary's straight over and have no problems at all.
And then above us, all the whole fly tower, that will also be lit. So very similar to the National Theatre. Those of you maybe have seen that going across Waterloo Bridge. We'll be able to light up the fly tower different colours at different times of day or times of year. Give Lee a blue bag, the amount of tours we're doing.
An umbrella.
An umbrella.
So This is one of the biggest pieces of new construction aside from the production block, which we'll look at shortly. So this is going to be the new entrance and box office below us on the ground floor. And then up here, it's the creative learning space, which Steve, I think you can explain exactly what that
Yeah, so it's a dedicated space for all of our work with children and young people. So children and young people have been involved in the design, and it's also designed as a safe space. So it's after school activities, half-term clubs, but it's a dedicated space for those young people to use. And similarly, it's accessible by lift. And with a reason why we put it at the front of the building, because we want that to be seen by anybody who's coming along to be a very central part of our offer.
So will it be glazed on the side then?
Yes, it will
So you
be.
can see and
Yeah. And the idea of the whole design is the inside out, so that you'll be able to see, even if you're popping into town, you'll be able to see activity happening above you, and you'll be able to see below any activities in the box office. Along that side in the workshop, for those of you who remember that, all of this side will be now clear glass, so that you'll be able to get a glimpse in when they're building the panto set, glitter, and also it's important from our point of view, this is where a lot of our training happens with apprenticeships, trainees, work experience, so that their work is seen as an integral part of what happens on stage, and it's that backstage coming in the inside out, if you like.
I think Dave will contest this has been one of the more difficult bits of the build. We had some archaeology to contend with here. We had some high voltage cables which we didn't know were there. All sorts of things to deal with. But otherwise it's gone very well indeed. Stand on this site was Mercury House, which was a 4-bed detached old vicarage, wasn't it? For St Mary's. So this is a completely new facility. What we're in and around at the moment are the dressing rooms on this side, around the
Green room is
corner,
here.
green room, and then we've got laundry, and then we've got the new costume department. We can carry on walking down this way. We'll see the first of the. So this will be the new dance studio. So there'll be a proper sprung floor in here. This will be used by the theatre, but also please stand on this.
Absolutely, and it will be the only fully sprung dance floor in Essex, is that right?
North Essex, yeah.
Since the offices went down.
Ipswich is the nearest.
That wasn't us, I promise.
No. That was one of the last ones.
But also, particularly this space, obviously is used in association with any shows, but then there's a whole new programme coming in here for older people with dementia and conditions like Parkinson's and movement. So we're working with the health service about referrals for that programme. And then toddler and parents groups around, if you're the same age as me, music and movement, for those of you who remember that. But I keep using that phrase. So it's programmes like that that will exist in here.
Continuing the theme with people from outside being able to see what's going on inside, obviously there's a lot of glazing in here. Those openings will be filled with new windows. I should say as well, the production block and the new construction of the creative learning space and so on we looked at, very well insulated, very energy efficient. The whole of the building is going for a BREEAM very good rating. And we're on target to achieve that at the moment, so it's beyond what current building regs require as far as energy efficiency and sustainability is concerned. And that even goes as far as looking at in the future how the theatre deals with its waste, traffic movement, customer flow, all that sort of thing as well, and facilities for the staff.
So on the top of this section of the building, to complement already, we had solar panels on top of this building with solar panels. So it become, we think, one of the most energy efficient buildings in the whole of the borough. And our aim ultimately will be to get to carbon neutral. We just need to see it running because all of the new lighting coming in on stage will be LED, and also we'll be able to then control temperature and lighting right the way throughout the building. Because the old building, the boilers were either on or off. So it was kind of, you either opened the window if you were too hot, because it was the boilers from 72. So yeah, so it's important. So everything's triple glazed, everything's then treated and sustainable sourcing in terms of any materials.
Yeah. Should we move upstairs?
Yeah. So at the moment we're estimating we're spending about £8 million in the local economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just over 8 million of an 8.9 million pounds. Yeah.
So this will be the new open plan office area for all the Mercury's accounting staff and back of office staff and so on. Steve's desk will be there in that corner.
And I've given up my own office. I'm going to take this
As part of the value engineering, Steve's office went, I'm afraid. So yeah, he's in with everybody else.
Yeah. God help me.
Around the corner, it's more open plan office space, but this will be used slightly differently. Steve, you want to talk about
Yeah, so this is where our hub for new creative businesses, which European Regional Development Fund are supporting. So this is between 10 and 15 hot desks that will rent out to those startup businesses over the next few years. So it's called Mercury Creatives. So anybody is associated to the creative industry, because as we know in the county and in Colchester, one of the fastest growing sectors of our local economy. Particularly, this is where we'll give them support, meeting space, launches, meeting rooms, rehearsal space, digital capacity, because the whole building will be up to Cat 5 into Cat 6. So we're onto the new digital high-speed network for the town, and particularly for us, it will then mean that we can live stream shows from here, or receive shows in, or events, or equally collaborate with other partners. So for example, we've got some staff leaving today off to Lisbon. So we're a part of a European network of different venues and museums. So the National Museum of Portugal, the National Museum of Slovakia, or a whole network of that, looking at how we develop audiences. So that's part of that collaboration. So we'll be able to live collaborate with those types of organisations. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting that. And our mentors for that scheme, we've got both local mentors and then national mentors. So people from the National Theatre, the Opera House, the Royal Court, the Royal Shakespeare Company are then supporting different people on that scheme. And then we're taking another 50. So that's a scheme we really want to keep going now. There we go. Yes. There you go.
So there's quite a bit of demolition going on here. It is, yeah, absolutely. The package is straight through there, you're onto the stage.
That was the old green room, wasn't it?
This is the new get-in area. So previously the theatre was when they were unloading shows and so on, they had to bring everything through the workshop and onto the stage. This gives them a new, larger entrance direct from the lorry straight onto the stage, which will speed up your installation time considerably.
So does that mean you can get bigger sets straight in?
Bigger set straight in, safely and quickly.
And it also means our workshop actually get every working day, rather than having to give up every Monday for a get-in, or if it's a week of one-nighters, the first couple of hours of every day to get in.
The turnaround becomes much, much quicker.
This whole area is obviously where the new building meets the existing building, where we punch through into there, and it's quite a complicated piece of the build here. Trying to get the two buildings to marry up. Discovered that the existing building hasn't been built exactly plumb. Doesn't help the situation. It's either that or it's sliding down Vulcan Hill, I'm not sure. But it's, yes, indeed, absolutely. But yeah, and builders are overcoming that, so it's all good, all good. So if we go around the corner, we'll get get up into the main rehearsal space. Nice tray walls and come So this is the main rehearsal space now for the theatre. We'll be able to set up scenery in here, do as many lifts as you like, or whatever on you. It's plenty of room. Again, continuing the theme of people from outside being able to see some activity inside. There's some large-scale windows going in, so you see the masonry is getting up to that level at the moment. Heated, cooled, but still considerably energy efficient, very sustainable.
And this is particularly for us, it's a professional standard where you'll be able to store things here. So the walls will have storage, so we don't have to move things around, because don't forget at the moment we work off 7 different sites across Colchester. The inefficiency is just extraordinary when things are moving between. But equally it will be for starting and rehearsing our own 8-9 shows a year, but also we'll be able to offer that to co-producers to start their shows with us here. So, I mean, Tracy's...
It's also one of the most exciting things to me is, of course, our office is there. You know, you can literally arrive and just drop in at lunchtime for 5 minutes and see what's going on, rather than having to make an epic journey across Colchester to go and see 10 minutes work and make sure the company are all right.
Yeah.
So it's just a joy having everybody intertwined again.
Bit of both, yeah, we've got a big deal here.
Is it large enough?
Sorry?
Is the facility large enough?
Oh yeah, here.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What you need is a rehearsal room the same size as the stage.
Yeah.
And that gives us this plus some perspective. So it's perfect, it's absolutely perfect. We can mark out the stage in here and just leave it here permanently, and then just add the set onto it. So yeah, and having big windows, having light is always fantastic, so you're not having to, an awful lot of rehearsal rooms are black boxes and really depressing.
And also don't forget, part of our aim here as well is that we're at the north of their Thames production corridor.
Yeah.
That those of you have been finding out about that. So for us, we're able to offer any production company, you can do everything on site, which is getting absolutely priceless. So companies in London, for example, cry out for these facilities because you'll be able to build the set, bring it in here, costumes are downstairs, you'll be able to have the admin team next door rehearsing here, performance there, off you go on a
Get
national
round
or
to
international
finance
tour.
and say, could I have my subsistence please? And
Yeah.
it's all just so easy.
Yeah.
And the height is brilliant. The
Yeah.
thing I used to love most about our old rehearsal room, which is now our office, is the height was about here. So whenever we did anything where you lifted someone or somebody had to stand on a chair, we used to have to punch out, there were squares in the ceiling. So you'd punch out the square and just that one square. So they'd stand on the chair and their head would disappear out through the ceiling. And you'd play a scene like this with somebody who's meant, it's just ridiculous. So having this height is fantastic.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. And I think that's probably about it.
Yeah.
No need to see the roof, is there?
No,
Really?
you can see the roof, but there's that's a roof. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Completion when?
So we get this section of the building mid-May,
Yep.
and we're looking at mid to late July for the whole building.
Wow, okay.
So we will start to, as construction finishes, we will
Ready for
start
panto
to.
season.
So then, so we're looking at reopening mid to late September.
Yeah.
And that will be a town-wide event, weekend event,
Yeah.
which is the theme is coming home, because the first season the theme is stories and stories of home, and then the opening weekend will have a big parade about the history of Colchester, so working with different community groups, and then everybody will arrive on site, and then big fireworks and event at the top of the building, all around the building. Amazing. That's part of the opening weekend.
Cool.